What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. Today's guests are a metal band based right here in Billings, Montana. They currently have 2 singles that you can go listen to right now, Dark Passenger and Severed Sanity, available on all music platforms. Today I'm joined by Aaron Flores, Carter Estel, Stetson Ryman, and Aaron French. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Render Me Silent.
It's okay, I called Carter Stetson at the show the night before.
You might as well just start calling me Stephen Ryman.
Stephen Ryman.
Just any name that starts with an S and
No,
kinda...
specifically Stephen, because people always mix up me and his brother.
Oh,
My
okay.
older brother, yeah.
That's right.
Him and my older brother.
Well, guys, welcome to the show.
Howdy.
Sorry it took so long to finally get you on here.
I think that was partially our fault, but yes, thank you for having us.
And me and Carter are sharing a mic today, so I'll try and figure it out. Carter was the late one, so...
Of course, if I'm not late, then nothing's happening right. I've got to be late to everything.
I always like to start my shows off, or start the episode off with 10 random questions for the guests. Since we have so many people here, I kind of cut it down a little less. Rapid fire, we'll just kind of go down the line between the 3 of you. Or 4 of you, I mean. And gonna be pretty music heavy here. But,
We don't know anything about music.
I love it.
here we go. Alright, first question. This is kind of just an icebreaker, this whole little...
By the way, thank you for the water.
Yeah, you bet. What is your favorite song that you guys have written as a band? Like, just individually, which song do you enjoy the most?
That's a good one for Aaron.
Oh, man. I would say, oh, man. I really like playing The Order live. That's super fun. Or Chaos. Chaos and the Clarity is super fun also. I love both of those songs.
I think I'm going to have to go with Dead Man's Switch, because that's the only one I was involved in writing so far. We're working on more, though.
I think I'd have to say The Order as well. I'm also a late addition to the band, so I haven't done much.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, though, you've done a lot of rewriting of the bass and putting your own spin on it, so I think you could have a better shot at than French can at that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to answer that. Unless we're talking about strictly songs that we perform and not songs that we've written that we don't perform yet.
Go with perform.
Because the way that we write music, we don't necessarily, like, we actually haven't really, the songs that we perform, other than maybe Dead Man Switch, we haven't really fully written as a band together, right? Like, lyrically, yes, vocally, pieces and that, but not like we all just cumulatively came up with this idea. I'd say Dead Man's is probably the closest to that.
And we don't really jam either. It's like people write out ideas and then share them between each other, kind of thing. So
Yeah, and we can get more into that too.
That's 100% true. I don't necessarily think that's true what you said, because the last 3 songs that we've written that we play live, Dead Man Switch, The Order, and Burn Me Alive.
Yeah, I guess
all 3 we've, like, you had like a couple of riffs and like ideas and like the idea of like the order that you wanted the riffs to go like in the song and everything like that. But like all 3 of those songs,
yeah, I guess
we've
so.
pretty much had all of our own spin on, our own little flavor into it.
so much for rapid fire, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I still think
good talks. It's all good conversation.
I think Lightbringer might still be my favorite.
It's fun.
Because there's just so much fun we have individually playing that song. And it's also, for me, it's one of my most, like, flamboyant, like, egocentric guitar solos that's just really fun to play.
We do all have the most fun playing that during our set. We get real goofy with it.
It was the last song and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. There's just something about how that song sets up, how it finishes. I don't know. I like that.
Band or artist that most inspired you to start playing music?
Oh man. My favorite band of all time is actually Coheed and Cambria. They would probably be what inspired me. I'd say like my dad was probably what inspired me to start playing music because he plays pretty much everything under the sun musically. But Coheed and Cambria is massive influence on me. So yeah.
Yeah, I
I'd
know
say
you guys
that.
have done a couple covers.
Yeah.
I'd say Between the Buried and Me, for sure. Started listening to them when I was like 14. I had already been playing drums, but nothing had like... That band really opened my eyes to what was possible in music. Just super progressive all over the place. And their drummer is an absolute madman, so...
It's super hard to narrow it down for me, honestly. But if I would have to say anything, it'd probably have to be Avenged Sevenfold. They just hit right at the right part of my life that kind of had, a
Sometimes
deep
that's all it
impact.
takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest question any musician can answer is like, who's your biggest influence? I think for me, typically people would think I would say Avenged Sevenfold as well too, and they are probably 70% of that. But for what really inspired me to play guitar and to like actually do stuff, who do you think it's gonna be?
No, go ahead.
No, do you tell me who you think it's
No.
gonna be?
I want to see if I'm right.
It'd be honestly, it was Ozzy,
Oh.
Black Sabbath, and
That's not-
Randy Rhoads
yeah.
primarily.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest, I'd say. Now it's totally different, but like Stetson said, Avenged Sevenfold just opened it up. After that, then I found that, and then that was it. So
I said Trivium.
Oh.
Trivium's a big one though too, but not like that initial
That he-
Ozzy was. Anyway,
The name of the first band you ever played in?
Oh, God.
well, this should be good for you and I because we played in that band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
Holy shit, what was the name of the first band that I was in? I think it was called Betrayed. Yeah.
That's original.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, well, the funny thing is that it was the three-piece. Two of the guys in the band wanted to call it Suicidal Tendencies, and I was
Oh
like,
my God.
what?
My first band was called Starscream.
Nice.
I
Straight up.
watched Starscream.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Starscream.
We played
I
like
love
3
it.
shows. That was
You played the Battle of the Bands
love it.
at North Park.
and I did too. Remember?
Yep.
Do you remember that? I played by myself because my first band, Suburban Society, which Dakota was actually in too.
For like 2 months.
Yeah,
I fucking love the name Starscream. That's fucking cool.
yeah. They couldn't play that night, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go play myself." And I did covers. I did 3 songs, 3 covers. But that's the first time. I don't know if I remember talking to you, but I know that's the first time I ever met you.
My first experience playing in a band, I played 1 show with Twisted Romance.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I would say my actual first band was Overcoming the Odds with Jesse Van Noy. And yeah,
I love
I understand why you wanted to play the fifth on that first one.
yeah.
I forgot about that, honestly. I forgot about those guys.
Who hasn't?
Favorite genre of music outside of rock and metal?
Oh, man.
Is there anything else? I'm just kidding.
I could think right off the top, blues, like just straight good blues, or bluegrass. I'm a big bluegrass fan. And classical.
Stexy?
I don't know. Probably like reggae or something. You know,
Yeah, I could see that.
just
go with-
because the punk roots that reggae has. Or opposite, flipped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with folk, I think. Like old stuff. Like 1930s kind of stuff.
Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
what do you mean?
old like Union songs and stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Sounds like you have to get
Oh
a
my
phonograph
God.
and play it.
Yeah.
Crank it up.
That's hilarious. I'd probably say like I love like neo disco funk type stuff. I mean, I pretty much up until the point that I was in Hubba Hubba with my brothers and everything like that, I was just always a metalhead and everything. My older brother Kane always listened to pop music growing up, and it drove me absolutely crazy. I hated pop music growing up. But I don't know, being in Hubba Hubba and everything, you change his taste when you grow up, and that definitely opened up a lot of different doors in my playing and styles and stuff. And yeah, I really love like Chromeo and Wolfpack and like synthwave stuff, even like Gunship. I love stuff like that. Yeah.
Guilty pleasure band.
Oh man.
I don't think anything's a guilty pleasure. I think you like what you like.
Well,
I was gonna
says
say.
you.
I think
I'm just saying, like,
I think I'm past the point of being guilty about what
Yeah.
I listen to.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But younger me definitely wouldn't have admitted that I like pop music. But it's not a problem anymore.
yeah, I'd say for me, I think The Weeknd, honestly, would be probably one of my guilty pleasures. I'd love The Weeknd.
I'd say Lady Gaga. She kicks ass.
Lady
What?
Gaga does
I
kick
fucking
ass.
love Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga kicks ass.
Her, when she did the Metallica thing, I thought she killed it.
She's
When
just
her and Metallica
downright
did something, I thought she
cool.
was great.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, she is a cool lady. My old brother's obsessed with her, obviously. I'd say my guilty pleasure. It's not a specific band, but I really love. For some reason, it just tickles a certain fancy for me. I love like the J-pop, K-pop, metal mix genre, like Hanabi and baby metal
Baby
and
metal
shit like
fucks,
that. Like
dude.
it I don't know if you've ever listened to Hanabi, but they're another group of girls, and they it's not like baby metal where they have like the three girls that are fronting it and then they have the band backing it. They
Yeah, they're the
themselves
actual
play the
band.
instruments and
Yeah.
stuff. They're a three-piece, and they slay. It's awesome, but that's probably a guilty pleasure of mine.
All right, fair enough. Leaning out of the music side of things, most famous person you've ever met.
I have two. I have met Tony Hawk, and
sure?
I have met Gordon Ramsay.
Nice.
Both of them equally extremely nice people, especially Gordon Ramsay.
I've met
Very
them,
nice guy.
to be honest.
You haven't met
Contrary to
any
what you would
famous
think.
people?
I don't think so.
I've opened
None.
up for famous musicians too, if you have.
I mean, I guess we did open for Black Dahlia Murder, but
Yeah.
yeah, so like Trevor Strnad and those guys
That counts.
back in
Yeah.
2018.
Chris Broderick from Megadeth when he came into town.
Played with him.
Atreyu. I ran into Kerry King at Hooligans the night before they played here.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And when I was little, Clint Eastwood. He opened up an exhibit at the Cody Museum.
He was there.
I've
Yeah.
taken pictures with Kiss on the cruise. I don't think that counts as meeting them.
That counts as meeting them. I say I've met Pierce Savale because of a meet and greet like that, but it was just like a hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the
Not
list
in the wild.
Yeah, not out in the wild, but
list of musicians would be long.
out in the wild, I'd say the two most famous people that I've ever met is Dennis Quaid. Hubba Hubba opened up for Dennis Quaid and the Sharks.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go to
we
that
played.
so
we played.
bad.
He was. If Dennis Quaid ever sees this, please don't be upset with me for saying this. He was hammered.
That's awesome, though. I feel like I'd want to meet him hammered.
He was super wasted. At least at the end of the show, when I finally got to meet him, shake his hand backstage, he was he was, yeah. He had a couple of drinks. And then also, do you know who Wilford Brimley is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I met Wilford Brimley.
Ryan
He
Bates.
lived in Grable, Wyoming when I lived there. And my dad and I went to church with he and his wife. And we went to their house one time for like a church gathering. He was a grumpy son of a bitch, dude.
When I worked at Olive Garden, he used to come into Olive Garden and eat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never met
He was
him.
from here, or at least around.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
He owned a ranch down in Wyoming, yeah.
And actually, I would probably consider the most famous person I ever met, also met at Olive Garden, was Frank Borman, who was an astronaut.
Oh, that's pretty
pretty
sweet,
sick.
dude.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
pretty badass.
Oh, I forgot one. I'm gonna get a collective groan from everybody, but I met Ronnie Radke at Warped Tour. He's topping the rock charts, man.
Yeah, no,
but
for
not
sure.
in a-
There's been some stuff that Ronnie Radke's come out with that I like. Not
I don't
necessarily recently,
Love any
but
of it. But I will say, watching some of his TikToks, he is pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
He was
some
real
of them
nice
are, like,
when I met him.
cringe, but some
That's
of it's
good.
just like I do laugh because he's pretty funny.
I wonder if with a lot of those guys, if that like asshole, like tough guy persona that they portray in a lot of their social media stuff is just that,
Oh,
just,
I think
just a
that's him.
character. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you acted like that towards your fans and stuff like that,
He
like, who the
does.
fuck would fucking come and support you? You know? But I don't know. I guess people like being abused.
Anyway,
He does though. He does do that. He calls them out. He goes, "You guys are like." He took his shirt off or something at a concert, and these girls were like hooting and hollering, and he's like, "Stop it! If I was a woman, you guys would be all pissed about it." Like he really like gets at him. It's kind of funny, but no, I think that's him. But enough about Ronnie. We don't need to.
All right, last question, and this is the question I ask all my guests. So I'm basically building a what do you call it?
Survey.
Yeah, a survey. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I don't think that you should yuck other people's yum.
Well, no, this is
So,
your own
yeah,
personal preference.
For sure, yeah. I definitely think that it should. I myself am a huge fan of the salty and sweet combination.
That's why I don't like it. Is because of that.
Oh, really? I
Yeah, the
gotcha.
sweet and savory.
Yeah. I've got a huge sweet tooth, though, also, so I love mixing sweet with other flavors.
It's acceptable.
Except
It doesn't belong there, but I'll still eat it if it's there. Yeah.
Fair.
Carter, you go first.
No, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely not. You know what though? I'm a classic pepperoni man. Put some mushrooms on it though, and I'm good to go.
All right, as
That is
Render Me
blasphemy.
Silence, foremost expert on pizza. I grew up in a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
My grandparents owned Little Big Men Pizza in Laurel.
Really?
Yes.
Nicole. Wait, no. Nicole's told me that.
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
Stetson's told you that.
And if you
Nicole
say
worked there.
otherwise, fuck off.
Pineapple does belong on pizza? Yeah, you heard it right here, folks, from a pizza expert himself. Pineapple does, in fact, belong on pizza.
This is Little Big Men, like,
In Laurel.
in Laurel.
yeah,
Yeah,
I love that place.
Yeah, it's so good.
Never been there.
No?
Never heard of
We
it.
no longer own it, but we did for 40 some years.
Your family was who started it.
No.
Oh,
It
no?
was a chain originally,
Oh,
I
I
believe.
didn't know
there
that.
was one out in the middle of nowhere that also existed at the same time ours did, but those were like the last two, and then we sold ours.
Oh, interesting.
I'd eat cat hair on Little Big Man pizza. It's so good.
Montana style is better than New York and Chicago style.
Montana style, I like that. All right, so tell the people where can we find you? Let's get some promotion out here. Where to hear some music if people want to listen to music.
Yeah, so we've got music on all major streaming platforms. You can even listen to us on your Peloton if you have a Peloton.
Actually, I do have a buddy that pulled our stuff up on his Peloton.
That's
It
amazing.
does
That makes
work.
me so happy,
does
dude. We haven't been able to break into the touch tunes yet.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the deal is with getting onto that. I think that has something to do with the bars themselves, because I've noticed that some of the touch tune libraries are different Maybe it's changed recently, but I don't drink anymore, so I don't go out to bars. But anyways, all major streaming platforms: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon, all that stuff, YouTube. We do have a website that we just launched. We're working on getting our domain so that it's just rendermesilent.com. But let me pull that up right now.
Anyway, on this website, you can order merchandise. And we have shirts on there and patches and hats.
I'll leave a link in the description for you guys so that
thank
anybody who wants to check it out, I'll leave a link to the music and I'll leave a link to the website.
Yeah, it's a fourth wall website, so it's that's part of the domain. But we'll get you it instead of me reading it off. So yeah.
Yeah, so.
Any shows to plug that are coming up?
Yeah, we've got 2.
We have one at May 8th. That's at Thirsty Street with Stranded by Choice and Switch Off Safety from Great Falls, which we just played with them in Great Falls 2 weeks ago, which was super fun.
Yeah.
And then we are playing May 16th at Craft Local with Bloodless and Lethal Aid. And Desi just told me today that we're headlining that one, so that should be real fun.
That's super cool. I must have missed that message. Did you send that in the chat? Oh yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, that's super cool. I have not seen Bloodless yet.
They shout out to our friends in Bloodless.
Yeah.
That'd be Cameron and Dom and all of those
Their
guys.
music's
They have good music and it's on stream. I didn't even know they had stuff released until it just popped up. This is a shout out for YouTube Music, by the way. YouTube Music pulled it up for me, not them. So that was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Best search algorithm there is for music. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then any new material in the works for recording at all?
We got some stuff in the works.
That's not a secret.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of working.
Yeah. So I mean, we recently went through a lineup change within the last year and a half. And so and that's when we welcomed this beautiful bastard into our band right here. So since he's bringing the beats from Monday to Sunday, he will. We are currently working on getting all of our stuff that we had written previously to Frenchie joining the band recorded and released as a collective EP. 2 of those songs are already released, Dark Passenger and Severed Sanity. Those are going to stand alone as their own 2 singles. And then the other, 6 songs that we have, 6 songs that we have are going to be our EP, our debut EP. And then Dead Man's Switch, which is the only new one that we've written with Frenchie that we play live, is going to be part of that debut full length that we're going to be working on. And yeah, we've got probably about half of it instrumentally, like conceptually written, maybe not like studio ready written, but we've got like the framework of probably 4 or 5 different tunes.
Probably close to 7. I was just actually working on some lyrics for some of those songs, so I think I've got some good ideas there. I think one thing we should preface too is we do everything ourselves when it comes to recording, so that can take a little bit more time to get things done, but we're gonna send out the recordings for like mixing and mastering and stuff. We're all trying to get to a point where we can do it.
Minus the stuff that we do with Jesse at Iconoclast.
Yeah.
So another plug here for Jesse Vinoy at Iconoclast Studio. He's our huge homie, and yeah, Carter says at every single show that he pretty much keeps the music scene, gives the music scene sound, is what you say.
That's what I say. Every show I have to plug him because it's true.
Yeah.
Your
He
guys'
records everybody
really
in town.
I love the way he mixed your guys' album too. The way it almost sounds like a live album. Yeah. I like that. Like, Justin's on one side and
he works on the Stranded stuff. Mopsquito. He did stuff with he just did Pressure Knot. He just did Peabody. And we do vocals. And sometimes we'll track guitars or bass at his place. But we do our vocals at Jesse's studio because he's got just amazing equipment, as you know, and his vocal chains and stuff,
Yeah, and that really matters too, like vocal chain. I think for us, I mean, we could some of the songs that we have recorded right now, we could slap some vocals on it and just release it as like a demo, and it would probably be fine. But I think for us, we all want a really nice sounding, polished product. We like a little bit of that modern sound and production, and there's some new stuff that I'm learning how to do that we're adding to our music. In terms of like orchestration and keyboards, and we've already started to incorporate some of those things live too. And so that kind of stuff it takes time, and I think we all are urging to get each other to get it, like, come on, we got to get it out too, but it's also kind of nice as nobody's saying you need to get this out now, because it gives us time to hone in, focus on the songwriting, and do it the right way.
But we're also all always bouncing ideas off each other for what we want to do in a specific song or in a specific part of a specific song, and that often goes off the rails, but we rein it in and figure it out.
That was one thing with our record that I kind of felt we rushed it a little bit. We felt like an urgency to get it out, and partially because I didn't want to, it's the first time we worked with Jesse, and I didn't want to waste his time. I didn't want to, like, be that band, we're walking in, we're, like, taking all this time to do this, that, and the other. But also, it was more like just trying to get it out, where maybe we could have taken a little bit more time here, a little more time there. Like, I wouldn't have mind spending a little extra money just to make sure we're putting out exactly what we wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a few things in there that we all caught that were like, meh. So it's better to take your time and actually, like, put out the product that you're wanting to give to the world. So
Definitely.
I totally understand taking the time to...
Well, and no matter how much you take your time, you're always going to do that too. Like, pick it out. Like, there's stuff in, I'm sure everybody's here has released music in some capacity, and I bet every time we go and listen to it, you're like, oh, I could have done that different. Oh, this should have sounded better.
Every artist that has ever existed would be lying if they said that they wouldn't, that when they listen to their own music, they wouldn't be like, yeah, if I could go back, I'd probably do that a little bit differently right there.
Yeah.
Except Lady Gaga.
Whether it's like production or writing or whatever, like, I guarantee you, like, every single artist that has ever released something where you can go back and re-listen to it has at least one thing that they've released that they feel that way about,
No, for sure. Yeah, I think for us, writing music too is so different than like other bands. Like, we don't really get into a room and just like, I got a riff and jam it out. Like, I mean, I guess for me personally, I don't know how these guys feel about that. I hate doing that. Because then you got the drummer sitting there diddling away, bass players trying to figure it out. You're trying to show, somebody else how to play something, and they're like, shut up, everybody's too loud. It's so much wasted time, in my opinion, where I can send these guys a video of how to play the riff, and then send them the song individual parts if I need to, on however far I've gotten on it. And same thing, Aaron can do that. French is a wizard at Guitar Pro, so he can write all his drums in it and guitar stuff, which is really cool. And then Stetson...
I'm just kind of here.
He just does it... Stetson is a one-take wonder. He comes and lays it down. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of bass players that can do that.
So you're not special is what
But nobody lays it down like Stetson. So I just think we just work better that way. Like, our practices are more... like, efficient.
I think that just works with just what we do as a band more, like in other bands or other genres even, it'd probably be a little bit different. Like, that's 100% how we wrote music in Hubba Hubba, is we would just get into a room and maybe somebody had like an idea for a riff, or Vanuelos had like a bass line or something like that, but they would always just be jamming it out until it fleshed itself out, but that's just the kind of band that was.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I'm not
not at
saying
all.
it's wrong. It's
Yeah.
just
No, it's just not. It's just not how it works in this band.
And for example, too, like Dead Man's Switch, which unfortunately we can't like show you what that sounds like right now, but the middle section, I had the song pretty much like down, had a little bit of a drum track, but I'm gonna send French this drumless and let him just do his thing, which he did. But then in the middle section, I was like, okay, I kind of got this, what I want. And then Aaron came over. I was like, dude, I can't get this to work. and he just went click, 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 and the way the middle section is set up is exactly how he edited it, and that's how we play it, because it just worked. So those are I like those things. I don't know why. I just like those things.
Yeah, no,
Me
for
too.
sure. Yeah.
Do you ever just like fuck around and something just comes up out and you're just like, that kind of sounds cool. Let's try and work on that.
Yeah, that has happened.
Boo-boo.
Yeah, with one tune kind of. And it wasn't in like a full band setting even. It was just me and Carter.
Sure.
I went over to his house. It was right after I joined the band. I went over to his house to either to learn a tune or to record guitar parts for Dark Passenger or something like that. But we were just messing around, and I just popped out this little mellow death sounding riff, and Carter was like, "Oh, dude, we gotta record that right now." And yeah, we still have like a little tiny, what is it, like a 3.5-4 minute demo.
Yeah,
just
it's like
just a
almost
guitar track. It's two guitar tracks, but
I didn't even open that session for like 3 years. It said because there's a little bit of a few reasons why I think we kind of just moved on from that, but I won't get into those. But
Boo Kitty Fuck.
We titled it Boo Boo Kitty Fuck, or he did really, and
Kevin Smith.
and I just pulled that.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. And I just pulled that up, and I realized how much of it was done, and I was like, guys, we gotta use this, so we might
completely
visit
forgot
that
about
again
that,
and
yeah.
take it. But I mean, dude, I've got a list in my computer this long of demos and riffs and songs, and like some of them are fully done, some of them are 3 seconds of something. Like I think I just sent them a riff last night at like midnight. I was like, "What do you guys think of this?" You know.
Well, and something also that I think has taken a little bit of time with everything is kind of coming up with like the concept for the whole thing. You know, deciding whether or not we want to do like a cohesive story or like an actual concept album, you know, or just like a central theme. And we kind of decided on a central theme. We're gonna kind of, each song is gonna be kind of a different take on how, or not a different take, I guess, but each song is going to be how would you say
Each
it, Carter? I
song
can't
is a
even-
representation in some way or another of a different culture's aspect of death. And so it could be about their afterlife, it could be about what they believe happens, it could be about a specific situation, like in the case of Dead Man Switch, if you want to elaborate on that, what that's about.
Yeah.
There's a song that I have written that I think I almost have the lyrics at least ready to present to those guys. That's called This Heart of Sorrow, and it's about people that have moved on and the realization that even though they've moved on, they're still watching you, and that you will end up eventually doing that for somebody else, and how that self-reflection. So like when I write lyrics, it's a lot more, I think, self-reflective than like when Aaron writes them in some cases.
Yeah.
Except for Dark Passenger is about Dexter, the show.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, for sure. That's like the one song that you wrote that is probably more of my lyrical
Thematic.
style and everything. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's something that I've always struggled with as a lyricist. Is I've never really been able to write like about my own life and from my own perspective and stuff. I don't know. It's just whenever I do it, it always just comes out so like trite and cheesy and everything. And so I find a lot of passion in writing about the things that have impacted me, or like a story that I've heard that, you know, impacts me, like a book or a video game. You know, we've got a lot of songs about video games or movies or TV shows, you know.
New song we just wrote. I wrote the lyrics loosely based around Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
I love it.
Like
yeah.
it has dual meaning,
Yep.
but there's so many like little words that are in there, or like like metaphors that relate. If you really looked into it, you'd be like, oh, that's totally Avatar Land.
Well,
There.
and that's something Aaron's really good at. Like,
I love
there are times
Appreciate it.
we have a song that's and I never. I know you guys are gonna groan at this one. I've never played Kingdom Hearts ever. I just saw the Disney characters and I was like, no, not for Carter.
I liked it when I was
Yeah, when
13.
I was 13. Yeah, but so Aaron loves that,
I've played
and
that
we
entire
have this
series
song called
multiple
"Keys
times.
to the Kingdom."
Oh, nice.
But
the
like
first
when
song
I
we wrote
look
as
at
a
the
group.
lyrics, I'm like, I had no idea that was about that. Like, we have a song about Castlevania, the show.
I love it.
Yeah,
Like-
Burn Me Alive is about Castlevania.
I
Specifically,
would've
it's
never known
about
that.
it's about
Star Wars too.
It's about the first. It's about the first episode of the Netflix anime. It's
good.
It's about when Dracula's wife gets burned at the stake. Like the first half of the song is kind of from her. It kind of shifts between her perspective of the situation and then Dracula's perspective, and then back to hers, and yeah, kind of back and forth. It's yeah. I get a lot of inspiration of doing that from Coheed. Because Claudio is also like amazing at doing that. The singer of Coheed and Cambria, their whole entire thing is all one big concept. You know what I'm saying? But he's also written songs outside of their concept that are from like villains' perspectives of like from like a certain story. Like they wrote a song for the Batman Arkham City soundtrack. It's from like the Joker's perspective. He's got a song that's from like Freddy Krueger's perspective called Elm Street Loverboy. And so that's probably where I get that from, is probably because he's one of the only people that I really hunkered down and studied like his lyrical content and how he writes and stuff, you know.
I always love hearing everybody's perspective on writing. Like everybody has a different, especially bands, you know, you get 4 or 5 guys together and like everybody might have a different process. So it's always cool to hear like different bands take on what your process is of writing a song, lyrics, just putting, you know, the song structure together and all that stuff. So I always like getting the perspective of different bands on how you guys do that.
Yeah, I think other people would consider maybe the way that we do it slower, but the way that we do it, I feel more achieved when I finish something like I felt like I've really thought about it all. And for me, it's like, it's not about just like, we need a verse, chorus, just kick the damn song out. Like, there's no substance for me at that point. I like really thought out and methodical thinking in my songwriting. Because for me, like, even as a guitar player, the melodies and stuff, that's very emotional for me in a lot of aspects, depending on what I'm writing about. So for me, it's like a therapeutic thing. So if I am just shitting it out, then I don't feel like I've done what I need to do internally. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how I've always thought about writing.
The cool thing to me is how you can send us a riff, and within the week we'll have the basics of the song down, and we can get through it. But how, I'm sure every band can relate with this, but how the song can evolve from when you first write it till when you record it, and even as you're recording it. Like me and Aaron just went in to record bass and vocals on a song, and as I'm recording, Aaron's like, you should try this. And so I did, and now that's how I play the song, and it sounds so much cooler than it would have had I not done that.
It's like you get the skeleton, you know, you get the bass, like just the bass structure of the song, and you have a pretty good idea of where it's going. And then as you're writing, you're like, oh, let's throw a little bit of this in there, let's throw a little bit of that in there, change it up, you know, add your own little flair here and there.
Oh yeah.
I
And
think
that's
it's
the best part about writing.
I think it's the little moments like that that really make your song stand out.
Mm-hmm. It definitely makes it unique and special, and
Mm-hmm.
it's what makes a song like just
Something to
to
say.
your band. Like it makes it your band's song. You know, like
Yeah.
you all created it together.
I even do the same thing. Like, I tend to Carter's point earlier, I like having bandmates that will write things out and then send them to me. And I can sit down at the computer, and instead of trying to come up with something on the spot, I can really sit and think about how I want the drums to go. But even then, I'll write something out, and when I go to play it live, that's not what comes out. I end up doing something else just because in the moment that feels more natural, and that becomes what the song is after that.
Something that David Banuelos, one of the best bass players I've ever seen, and one of my best friends, my brother, David Banuelos, you just slap you. I love David to death. He's my brother to death. But he said one of my favorite things that I've ever heard a musician say about writing music, and he said the song is not done until that shit is recorded and pressed and published, you know. And so like there when you go to record, there shouldn't be like this is how the song goes, this is how it goes, because if inspiration strikes, damn it, inspiration strikes, you know what I'm saying? Change that song, you know, like don't let the fact that this is how I've played it for the last 5 years stop you from changing that, you know.
No, that's not true. I mean, sometimes there's integral parts that shouldn't change, but Severed Sanity is a good example of that, though, because with Jesse's dictating, like the ending, the do 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 do, that melody, that was totally not ever in the song, and then the intro of that being that melody, that was all Jesse's production. So I mean, I'm definitely open to. It's nice joke, but I am open to different, interpretations of things. So sometimes there's like those anchor moments in a song, where like if you change the chorus melody, you kind of lose the groove, or the drum beat. It's like there are some things where it's kind of non-negotiable, but then there's other little things where like Stetson's bass part. I know exactly what he's talking about too. It definitely like added this layer of something that I would have never thought of. The Order is a good example of that. There's an intro guitar melody that Aaron and I played together before the main riff, and then Aaron comes back to play that in the middle of the song and at the ending while I'm playing the main riff, and I never in my life would have thought to do that. And so those are cool moments. Those are probably my favorite things to think about. Like, man, never would have thought of that.
Yeah, and one thing, I don't know if you had this experience recording with Jesse or not, but you had made the comment about how Jesse had made the recommendation of Severed Sanity. There was recommendations that he did, and we went with them. One thing I love about Jesse is that he will be straight up honest with you about your takes. He'll be like, that sucked, you need to do that again. Maybe not so harshly, but he'll be like, I think you can do better. But he'll also like he won't stick his nose or his fingers in something that he shouldn't unless you ask him,
Well, and he'll give you his opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And so I've 100% worked with engineers who think that they are being paid to also be a producer. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, you guys should play it like this instead. And it's like, well, thanks, I appreciate the input, but like that's not what we're gonna do, But they get like ouchy about it after that, and I love that Jesse he'll throw an idea out there every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? But he's never like, you guys should do it like this, or I'm gonna have a problem recording this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think anytime we had to do a retake or something like that, he would just be like, I was in the room just watching him record and listening to it, and then even I would not pick up on a mistake because I don't really have like that kind of ear for it. I'm just a vocalist. But he would just go, all right, let's go ahead and try that again. Let's go ahead and just let's run that one more time.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You want to do it one more time?
Yeah. I think you got another one in you.
You touched on lineup change. We don't got to get any specifics or anything like that, but I am curious to ask what that process was like, knowing that it was like pretty sudden and unexpected, like just dealing with all that and like moving on from that and then moving forward into the next chapter.
Yeah.
Like, what was that process like?
It was actually kind of sudden and unexpected with both lineup changes. The first one was kind of a little bit of a slow burn, and we were kind of, Carter and I were kind of wondering, like, is it going to go this way or is it going to go this way? Are we going to have to find a new bass player? That kind of thing. And that's what ended up happening. And it did kind of take us by surprise with how sudden it happened in the middle of everything that we were doing, which is fine. Life happens, shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty much a no-brainer with Stetson because I had been playing with him in Low Lifes and High Notes, and
no, this was before Low Life. See, this was when we were doing Renegades.
Oh, that's right. It was when we were doing
All of
the
us were
tribute. Yeah,
I
for
part of
sure.
that.
The first
In-
time?
Second
The second time.
And not to
yeah.
interrupt you in your story on this, but I just think as a shout out to the entire Renegades crew and Brendan and Rob, like, I would say the way that this band is set up in multiple iterations would not have happened without that.
Yeah, for
without
sure.
those two shows.
Yeah, no, for
honestly.
sure, definitely, yeah. But it was a little bit more of an arduous process when it came to finding a new drummer. Partially because every drummer in town is in 18 different fucking projects.
So we picked the one with 18 projects.
Yeah.
It was kind of a no-brainer for us wanting Frenchie. Like, we knew Frenchie was the one
He was
that
my
would
first
fit in the best
recommendation.
with
Yeah.
us.
It's interesting that you picked him up because of Renegades, because you asked me to be in this band at the
System of a Down
System of a
practice.
Down practice.
For Steal This
Well, we
Show,
picked
yeah.
Aaron up in the first Renegades. So,
Really?
Yeah.
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 Well, so
Yeah.
the way that this band initially started is, and I'm gonna name drop all these people because I will. It was me and Justin, that your bass player, Justin.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well,
Just for the
right-
folks at home.
Rhythm guitar.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
Justin
right.
plays guitar
Sorry,
and cut
sorry,
to it.
Justin.
Dummy.
So it was me and Justin that kind of got it together, and then we pulled in Connor Heyman from Greyjoy, and then I told, and at this point, Andre was working in the oil field, so he was kind of back and forth, and so I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna do it without him. So then it was us, and I was gonna sing and play guitar, and I just don't. I can make it happen when I need to, but I do not have the full ability like Flores does, to
appreciate
to
that.
sing and play guitar. And so after that, we were just kind of like, well, I was trying to get Justin to sing, and he didn't want to do it because he was doing his own stuff, and I get that. And so I was like, well, then we need to find a singer, and we did try out some different people and go through a different, portion of that kind of stuff, and then we did the Renegades thing. And Aaron and I have known each other for a while, and we all kind of, obviously the music scene's not that big, right?
Carter and I went to middle school together.
Yeah, and so we were listening to Aaron do the Rage stuff, and Andre's just like, man, we should ask Aaron to be in the band. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. He plays guitar too, and I know he's pretty good, and that it just worked out that way. And so that that kind of was how we got into the previous lineup.
Yep.
And then at some point Connor he got busy doing something, and
I actually didn't know
Didn't.
that Connor was ever a part of this.
yeah, it was very actually the clean part of Keys to the Kingdom
Mhm.
and that main riff, Connor wrote those. I didn't write that
Hell yeah.
because I was playing the rhythm.
Well, thank you, Connor. I love those riffs.
Yeah, I love Connor too. Connor's a good kid. So, yeah, that was kind of how that worked out as far as that conceptual lineup. And then we recorded music. Then we released it, and now we come to where we are now. And French was definitely my first choice. We had a few other people. They never tried out, but they definitely were interested in playing
Yeah,
with us.
I think there's a
we
kid
had-
from Great Falls, right?
Oh man, where's Jonah from?
He's from Great Falls.
He
He was in Take No Shit. That band, I'm pretty sure. That
I
was
think
him,
he
right?
was in
Yeah,
Take No
you're
Shit,
right, yeah.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in Take No Shit. Yeah, he was in Take No Shit, and he's in From Nothing. He's the drummer for From Nothing.
And he is playing with Overtime now.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. Jonah's a hell of a drummer, but he had expressed interest, and then him being halfway across the state, I think that he probably just figured that
Just
was
a little
probably
too much.
that was probably a little overzealous offering, but he's a badass, that guy. And then we had a couple of other people around town express interest in everything, but it was pretty much.
And
He
it
was-
was
he was
honestly
the one
on a
from the
whim
start.
too that like we wanted French, but we were like, what if he doesn't want to do it? He's got like 6 bands.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, from your perspective, how does that work for you when you're in so many other projects?
I was only in. Was I in 2 or 3 at that point? Actually,
You were in.
think it was only in 2.
Veramoose
and Juniper
and
Black.
Juniper
Well,
Black.
no, you were starting to do Gloomlight stuff too.
And
Oh, yeah,
Gloomlight.
Gloomlight.
The only
You're
reason I
Gloomlight.
don't count Gloomlight is because you haven't played live. They're not an actively live band yet. Apparently, that's coming.
You hear that, Topher?
Yeah. It's
I don't think Carter was
That's
supposed
a
to say that.
challenge.
No,
Yes,
they've
so
said
then-
that.
I actually, when you asked
Edit
me
it
at
out.
that practice, right after you asked me to be in this band, Benuelos was like, "Hey, you want to be in Grounded to Dust?" too?"
literally at the same practice.
We're planning on throwing a festival called Kill Frenchie Festival, and it's
Kill
just gonna be
Frenchie.
all of his bands, one after another.
He did get a little bit of that at that Halloween show where he had to play GID and us and didn't
Back
get
to
a break
back.
back to back.
And then back in December,
Oh yeah.
played with Juniper Black.
And then
at-
had to run.
I literally
Oh,
had to
damn.
run down First Avenue down
played
to
on
the pub station.
on Stefan's Kid at
Yeah.
the pub station.
I was gonna say, how'd the drum kit changeover go? But you already had one over there.
yeah,
Yeah,
on
he
Stefan's.
used Stefan's kid. My brother.
Your brother drummed for us for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My brother Stefan did. In between, we kind of were on our hiatus, and we got hit up, for 2 kind of big shows, just out of the blue, and we were like, "Fuck, what are we going to do?" And so my older brother Stefan, who's drumming for Stranded by Choice now, was like. He was on a hiatus for a while, because my brother is one of the hardest working dudes in like the local music scene. He's done it for such a long time, like pretty much his whole entire life.
I remember watching him before I was ever in local bands.
Yeah, for sure. After Hubba Hubba broke up during COVID. He had his daughter and everything like that. His daughter had been alive for quite a long time before that, but he was a dad and everything, and he was like, "Man, I'm tired. I think I'm just gonna take a break for a little while, And so, and then we got asked to open for Hinder. which I've got a little funny story that Carter shared with me about that, which I love because he probably wasn't going to share that story, and I'm totally going to. But we got offered to open for Hinder, and Stefan was like, "Well, you guys have to take that
It wasn't
slot."
Hinder.
It was
Already open for Hinder. It was Rivers of Nile.
Oh, it was Rivers of Nile.
Yeah, and I was like
it was Rivers
geeking
of
out about
Nile.
that because I wanted.
It
to
was
open for
Rivers
them.
of Nile.
I
You're
love
right.
Rivers of
We
Nile.
I
opened
thought
for Hinder
Stefan
the
was
year
on
before.
Hinder.
No, wait.
That Rivers of Nile show and Hinder show were like
Oh,
right
the
at
same
one
year.
after
It was
each
June
other.
and then
Yeah,
July.
no, yeah, that's what I'm
Sorry.
talking about.
You're
Yeah, it
sorry.
was Hinder first. Yeah, that's
No,
what. Yeah,
no.
yeah.
He did not play with us at Hinder.
Are you sure?
110%.
Okay, I got you.
It was Rivers of Nile and then whatever came after that.
It's all a blur.
I still want to hear the Hinder story.
So, the Hinder story is, apparently Carter has this friend. I can't remember his name, but,
You know who it is. It's Keith.
oh, it's Keith. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's Keith. Yeah. I forgot who you had said it was, but so Keith had made a comment to Carter years back when Carter was in Engage the Unseen, that they had a hint of Hinder in their music.
Just let Carter tell
I'll
the
tell you the
story.
story.
Okay, now that
Because
I've
you're,
brought
you're
it up,
mixing,
he's
you're
gotta say it,
mixing,
so.
you're mixing. That's because you wanted me to tell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so when we first started out as Engage the Unseen, we had this guy, and I still to this day do not know who he was, but he had like an internet magazine thing, and he did a review of this show we had played. And he gave us it was still a good blurb, but like right in the middle of it, it was just like, think of like a generic metal. What did he say? Something like a generic metal band with a smattering of Hinder, and that just pissed me off because I'm like, we don't sound like that. We don't sound like Lips of an Angel. Like, I was pissed. Here I am, like, writing the heaviest riffs I can, like, and so then he just never let me live it down. So I'd send him a new song we'd be writing or something. He's like, yeah, it sounds good for Hinder. And he still, to this day, like 10 years later, he gives me that. Well, then we get this slot to open for Hinder, and he just busts out laughing.
Just
lost it. Because he's just like, oh my God, it's so full circle now. And I'm laughing about it too, because it was pretty funny. But I will say, the Hinder guys were so nice.
Oh, they were incredibly nice.
It was a very odd show for us to be on.
It was such a weird mix.
Well, because Enrapture was on that show after us.
Yeah.
So we come out there, doing our thing, and then Enrapture comes and slays. And these people didn't know what the hell to think.
Yeah.
But I think we did a pretty good job. It was like probably 600-700 people there.
There's that one Carter. Carter always kind of picks one person out in the crowd to kind of like as his target that he's gonna be like, I'm gonna make this person smile tonight, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
Especially if they kind of look like they're a little grumpy, But there's this one guy out in the crowd. He was right up in front of the barrier. He's sitting up at the barrier, his arms crossed the barrier, just looking at us. And he did not look like he was looking forward to watching our set. I'll just say that.
Last time I heard, it capped out at like 800.
That show.
That show.
Nice.
Yeah.
And those people definitely did not know what to think when we first started playing, but by the second song, they started moving.
Yep.
They were starting to feel it.
They did like it, but there's this one guy that was super grumpy, and Carter just kept walking up to him all night, and because he's got his wireless, and he will walk out in the crowd and everything, so he kept walking up to him all night and kind of messing with him, and about halfway through the set, the guy was headbanging and
Yeah,
laughing
he had a
and
good
smiling and stuff, so yeah.
I always take that Bruce Dickinson quote, man, like, and I'm not a front man, but I kind of sometimes have to be.
Kind of split the duties a little bit.
Yeah, but the idea is that as a front man, you have to make that person in the back of the room feel like they're right there in front. And I've always lived by that. Like,
oh yeah,
especially if there's kids. Anytime I see kids, they all get guitar picks. Somebody gets a set list because like that's what makes other people do this.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna no matter how famous or unfamous you are. Like, if my guitar pick makes a kid want to pick up a guitar, I'm doing my job.
Oh, for sure, dude. One of my favorite videos ever recently is Dave Mustaine sneaking out into the crowd. He's got his hood up, and he's sitting behind the kid, and he's just giving him pics. Yeah, I love that, dude. That's especially because Dave Mustaine's known for being such a grouch. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a cool video to see.
Any other tales from the road? Any like good show stories that you can remember? Some memorable.
Great Falls was interesting.
Was it?
It was funny. It was funny talking about going up to Great Falls because none of us are huge partiers necessarily. I quit drinking a little over a year ago. I don't think that these guys drink a whole ton. Honestly, Carter does a little bit, but.
Carter's an alcoholic.
He's got a problem. But
never
You hear
before
that,
or
Savannah?
during, maybe
But I
afterwards.
mean, you do like socially, right? Sometimes, right?
I get made fun of because usually it's one beer and I'm done.
Oh, I got
And
you.
All
he
my friends
leaves.
give me shit about that.
But so we're
that
talking
happened that
about
night,
like
one
the
beer.
hotel and everything in our band thread, and Frenchie's. What did you say?
To what? At what point? What are
At
we
what
talking
point
about?
you were like, I'm gonna buy
I was gonna get ice
a gallon
cream.
of wine.
Yeah.
A gallon of wine and drink it after the show and get wine drunk. And then these two started talking about getting the biggie balls, the big buzz balls, and drinking those. And we ended up going back to the hotel and eating snacks and playing video games. Is what we did.
So Carter put his card down for the hotel. I did.
yeah.
We got back
This
to
is
the
funny.
hotel before him, and we walked in before him, and I wanted to buy ice cream really bad. It was like midnight, 12:30, something like that,
And
wasn't it?
chapstick.
Yeah, I needed chapstick,
Well, there's a good ad to that one.
but I wanted to buy ice cream so bad, and I didn't I don't think I had my wallet. No, I don't know. I wanted to put it on the room though, and Carter was like, "Hey, fuck you! I'm not putting it on the room."
Like,
I was so mad.
Like
I was
right in
like-
front of the hotel attendant, like
Yeah.
the clerk's like sitting there, just like trying to do his job, and Carter's looking at Frenchie like, "I will literally kill you."
Yeah.
Yeah, no wild destroying hotel rooms or anything from us.
Except for you guys sharing a blanket.
We did share a blanket.
Even when we showed up to the hotel, it was hilarious. We walk in and we're checking in. He was under Carter's name, and he hands the lady his credit card and stuff. And she's like, "You guys in a band or something?" We're like, "Yeah, we're in town playing for Spring Loaded Fest at the Dew Bar," which was a blast, by the way. A shout out to Jake and Switch Off Safety for organizing that whole thing. It was incredible.
It was awesome.
She
was like,
immediately-
"Well, just to let you know, we have to keep your credit card for liability reasons in case you guys party too hard after and destroy your room." And we literally looked at it. We were like, "We're probably gonna come back and play like Mario Kart or something. We're not that kind of band,
Yeah.
lady."
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Like, this isn't Motley Crue. Like,
Yeah.
this is that the days of that are kind of dead. I feel like a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think. I think there's a reason why so many rockers from back in the day aren't around anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not
'cause
that
they were allergic
not that
to
our
beans.
generation hasn't had their fair share of like overdoses or car crashes or what happened, you know. But it's definitely not like the whole like drugs, sex, rock and roll mentality.
It's not the
isn't-
cool thing anymore.
Yeah, it's not it's not the.
Oh. Dude,
the
how many
popular
times I've
school
told
of
people
thought
like, "Yeah, you
anymore.
guys going backstage," and it's literally just that. I mean, it is,
Yeah.
or warming up, or
Or using pizza grease as chapstick.
Yeah.
so. Aaron's poor lips were so chapped. He's making this big deal about it that night. How many beers did you have? Because you
I
got
had 3.
This was
He did
before
get
the show.
tipsy. No, this is afterwards
No,
too,
no,
and
the
he's
pizza
like,
grease was before the show.
"Oh,
though.
okay." Well, so like a few days after we get home, I'm like undoing all my stuff, and I open up my overnight bag, and there's a brand new tube of chapstick on there. And I don't get chapped lips, and I think my wife just put it in there for me one time. And I was like, "Oh man, French is gonna be so upset with me." So that's the first thing I sent him to. Was like, "Hey, did you know I had this the whole time?"
I was like, "Are you fucking with me right now?"
Yeah, it was so funny.
Because I was complaining. It was like my running bit the whole time we were there.
I need chapstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that event was I think Rich said it best when he got there, because he's just like, "Man, you drive all the way up to Great Falls, and there's like 6 people here," and we got there, and I'd never been to the Dew Bar. I don't know if you had ever been there. Have you ever been there? Beautiful, beautiful
That
venue.
venue's kick
It's
ass. dude.
Awesome.
Oh
So,
my God.
just kind of a quick thing about it is it's a bar on the inside, and it's got a Godfather's pizza in it, so you can eat, drink, and all that kind of stuff, and it's all ages.
And you can apparently chap your
Yeah,
lip.
improvise chapstick.
So on the south end of the building, there's a big room about maybe twice the size of the small room at the pub station. That's their main stage. Then they have a covered patio that has another stage on it on the other side of the building. Coolest part is both of them are soundproof. So each stage could be going at the same time. You'd never know. And when you're inside the bar, you might be able to hear a little bit of subwoof, but that's about it. And, well, you know, just a little bit of woofs, you know, the low end.
And the middle, the actual bar area was like packed with people that weren't there for the show. But then there were still there were so many people there
I think
for the
I
event
think
too.
they said they had like 200 people there at all together, because what would happen is a band would play for 30-40 minutes, they would tear down, while on the other side of the venue there's just a doorway you'd walk through. That band was setting up and get ready to go. So every 45 minutes there was a break band. It was so well put together.
Well, there was barely a break in between sets.
Yeah,
either.
just
Like
a
they
few
would,
minutes.
Jake would walk out on the stage and be like, "All right, let's give a round of applause for the band that just played. And right next door, this band is starting right now, so get your asses over there."
Yeah,
like,
it
was
was
really
literally
cool.
just-
But it was so well done, and everybody kind of knew. But what I was saying is, like, when Rich got there, he made that comment, and there was nobody there because we got there at like 4:00.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
And we were
before it
they
started.
were just still setting up, and then we went back to our hotel, and got ready for the show. And we come
It
back and
filled
it's
up
like packed.
fast.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so fun, and it was. And I tell you what, the biggest crowd response out of every single band and artist that was there was that Empty Souls.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
They very clearly had like a huge local following in
Yeah.
Great Falls. I think
Kalispell.
They're from Kalispell, yeah.
Just hip hop, but they were so
They crushed
good.
it.
Well,
They were
and
Absolutely crushed it.
one of their guys in that band was our sound guy as well too. Really, just professional. They were awesome. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. Is I love real underground like hip hop, like Swollen Members and Classified and Diabolic and Immortal Tech, that kind of stuff.
And he had that Van Halen.
Oh yeah, and I was
Oh,
going
yeah.
gassing for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played guitar during their set, and he had a Van Halen guitar, and I was like,
There's a cool thing about it was there was a menagerie of different genres playing that night, and everybody stuck around to watch everybody else's sets, regardless of what genre they were playing.
even the hip hop guys were all like, what did those guys from what they called Mob? That's right.
Mob, yeah, MOB.
Yeah, they came up to, I think it was you, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not real big metal guys, but you guys are awesome."
Yeah,
like,
they were like, man, I do not listen to metal, but you guys, your set kicked ass. Yeah, they were really cool guys. That happened quite a few times that night.
and that's one thing I think we talked about it on the way back too. Was like one thing I noticed about that, they just, especially the crowd too, like there was no. At least I didn't see anybody like getting into drama, fights, like overly drunk. Like
No.
that was probably one of the most safest crowds I've ever been in. It was just such a weird, in a good way, experience.
You know, I wish something like that could happen in Billings.
I was just gonna say I've always thought it'd be cool to have like a festival type situation at the pub because there's two stages, but it's almost impossible because one side's so much bigger than the other,
Well,
and then it'd be hard to like sound check while.
so that's what it was like at the Do Bar. The stage that we played on the small stage, and it was tiny.
Yeah.
Like it was.
God, we don't have a lot of gear.
Yeah. But it was very small, probably one of the smallest stages that we've played on as a group. Like I've played on tiny stages before, you know what I'm saying, like in general, but in this band it's probably one of the smallest stages we've played on. And the other stage was like 2-3 times the size. It was very, very similar to the size ratio difference, you know,
See, I feel like-
in the pub station.
I feel like we could pull something like that off. You know.
Well,
They need to utilize the Red Ox stage a lot more.
Something like that, yeah. Well, the thing about the Spring Loaded was that there was no cover charge. How many bands were there? 15?
13,
14.
14.
Yeah, it was a charity event. And I
Yeah.
think that's how they, because he kept walking around and coming with donations.
Well, yeah, so it was, there was no cover charge, but the bar paid the organizer enough money to give all the bands $100, which we had no idea was we were even getting paid. Because when the thing got set up, and Jake set up this huge chat with a bunch of all the bands and everything like that on Facebook, and he kept telling everybody, make sure you bring merch and everything so you can sell merch. And so I figured that's he was encouraging us to do that because that's how everybody was going to make their money, you know, which is fine, you know. And so so when we got handed an envelope with $100 in it, we were like, the hell? And so we did a little bit of digging and found out that that's what they did that. And
That bar definitely made money.
well, yeah,
They had three bars
bars.
going.
they had the absolute confidence that they were going to make more than enough money to be able to pay all those bands that and justify that
Well, I
money
think Jake does a good job.
beforehand. And not to say anything bad about any of the venues here in town, but I don't know if anybody has that kind of trust in our music scene, which is unfortunate because
Yeah,
back in the
ponying
day,
up $1,500 for a local show. Like,
yeah, back in the day when we were growing up, you know, back when the Yard was open and the Perk and the FOE did shows and stuff like that. Like any night of the
Basement
week,
of the
you could pack
Yep.
any night of the week. You could pack wall to wall a show full of kids and young adults and everything like that. You know, wanting to go to a show, metal show, punk show, whatever. And I don't know what changed, but it just does not seem like the general public supports the music scene as much as they used to.
Yeah, I agree.
know?
I was just thinking about that the other day. It was like there's really only 3 local venues, and one of them's the pub station, which is not like just a guarantee.
Yeah.
So it's basically like Thirsty Street and Craft, and then there's a
Kirk's, yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, there's Kirk's.
Capacity limit there though. It's like 40.
Yeah, well, and then there's random bars that'll have like a show, a summer, or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
usually they want cover bands. They don't want,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, like we're never going to be able to play at the Squire because
Yeah.
they want a band that's going to play Friday and Saturday night, play a 4-hour set. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Bullwhackers never fell apart because I feel like Bullwhackers could have been a really good
Or Bones, dude.
Bones.
Yeah.
Bones was trying to do basically what they're doing with the Do Bar up in Great Falls. I don't know if you ever went to Bones when they were doing music. Well, so you know how they had the music separate, and then they had their like its own bar and everything like that, and like you couldn't hear the music in the bar or anything like that. Like that's how it is up at the Do Bar, and like people very clearly love that venue up there and everything. And like I said, not to slight any of the venues in town because everybody busts ass, and without these places, we wouldn't have anywhere to play, you know.
Yeah,
But
I think it
it's
just comes down to people realizing how much it takes to do a show.
yeah,
You have to have the equipment. You can't depend on the bands to have it.
Yep.
You have to be able to understand that it might operate at a loss, the first few times. You have to understand that you've also got to promote too, and that you can't depend on the bands to do it. As the band should. You should all be promoting everything anytime. But
yeah.
still, like, I think it's a level of like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea in theory, but when they start putting, pen to paper and actually like doing stuff, I think it becomes a more of like, oh, this is a lot more than we bargained for. I think that's more what happens.
yeah.
Personally, I think like Andy's. Why don't they do a bunch of shows, man? Like,
I've played a couple shows at Andy's, and as much as I love that bar and like I know a lot of people there, it's just not set for music. Like,
Well, yeah,
the
well,
outside though during the
yeah, no, that was cool when they did the outside
did
shows.
the
at
Metal
Andy's.
Fest there.
Where did you guys play the Tap In that like that
We did
parking
System
lot's
there.
perfect for
Yeah.
that.
yeah, we did System and Slipknot there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
Proposed
think-
to Nicole.
Yeah.
I do think that if they wanted to, you could do 2 stages at Andy's. You could do one outside and one inside.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer when it gets so damn hot. Like that show that we did there, when it was the Big Sky Fest or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the only thing. That was the only downside was that it was so damn hot.
They did that at Craft Local just last summer for the Honky Tonk Fest or whatever the hell.
Oh, they had
that
it at
country
the
festival.
parking
They
lot?
had they blocked off the street. And they had a big stage, like a trailer stage out on the street, and that was the main stage, and then the stage inside was the small side stage, so it's been done, but yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but people just, maybe it's just that people in Billings don't like metal music anymore as much,
I
but
feel like
don't
there's
know.
a pretty big upbring of country music too, though. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a if all different genres of music are coming up, it's great for everybody.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Peabody's been killing it.
Well, and I agree with you. Like, I think the Red Ox needs to be utilized more. We're looking at trying to do one this summer. Apparently, we have a contact. I don't know. It's not me. So
If you need a sound guy, let me know. I know one of the best sound guys in town, and he has his own system and everything like that. So, and he's ran sound at the Red Ox, so he knows those guys and everything too. So
I will say on the crowd aspect though, the last show we played at Thirsty Street on the 4th, it was packed. Thirsty Street,
yeah,
and those
I
kids
love
were
Thirsty Street.
Yeah,
kids were
they're-
ravenous, man. It was a great show.
They were wild.
that was the second time I had played at Thirsty Street since they redid the whole place, and holy crap, it's a completely different stage and room and experience on that
love
playing
it.
in there now.
It's a
It's
big
awesome.
stage.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
Thirsty
yeah.
Street too, but I've played there so much.
I bet you have. Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
with Mandy working there, it's like,
it's
Yeah.
the go-to place.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing too. With so few venues in town, it's very easy to oversaturate yourself in your own home market.
Yeah. It's
You know?
we've come to realize you're pretty much 3 or 4 times a year in Billings. It's like that. Other than that, people aren't going to want to come because they just saw you like a month ago.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's one thing that we've struggled to do is get out Bozeman, Great Falls, Missoula.
Yep.
Like that's just one thing we've wanted to do. It's hard when you got 5 guys that all have jobs and families.
Yeah,
and,
for
like
sure, dude. Yeah.
So I applaud you
God,
guys
it's
for being
making
able
hard.
to do that. That's for sure. Like just being able to find the time to get out and go on the road. Like it's a tough deal.
Wasn't easy.
Sorry, Nicole.
Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, huh?
Yeah.
Like this, I think this was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if I hope Carter told you guys. I don't want to spring this on you. I like to end the episode with a positive motivational message from our guests. So if whoever wants to start.
Carter, start.
Go ahead, Carter.
I think I thought about this on the way here of like, what's my positive message? I think don't be afraid to start something. You're not too old to learn how to play something. You're not too young to be in a band. You're just not. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportune time. Just do it. Just get together with people and do something, whether that's playing in a band, playing Dungeons and Dragons, or, playing football with somebody. Like, just do it and have fun, and don't worry about the outcomes and the the plans or anything like that. Just make sure that at the end of the day you're satisfied with what you're doing and why you're doing it.
I can apply something from my career to this. We have a saying in the office that's everything is figure outable. That's the mantra in IT, because when something needs to get done, you find a way to do it. And I've applied that everywhere else in my life since I've been working in IT. I think I don't really subscribe to the whole everything's going to work out thing. I think you can find a way to make it work out if that's what you want to happen.
Manifest destiny.
Yep.
It's a pretty scary and uncertain world out there, so just be nice to each other. Nobody likes a fucking bully. Just love each other. Be good
Everybody
to each other.
love everybody.
Yeah. Except that guy.
I think my positive message, or rather piece of advice, and this is 100% also to myself, not just to other people. I do not think that I'm an outlier from this by any means, but I think people need to break away from their phones and their stuff like that more. This world is getting very confusing and out of touch with itself, I think, in a lot of different aspects. And I'm not at all getting political or anything, just purely philosophical. Like I work with kids and teenagers and stuff like that, and it's so crazy how disconnected from just life people seem to be. Younger people and kids and just people in general seem to be. I don't know, and I think that cell phones are a huge part of that. I mean, I'm on my phone brain rotting constantly,
Making me depressed.
Makes me hate myself, but I love what Ghost is doing right now with their tour that they're on. I don't know if you've read into the whole no phone thing that they have. But you show up and you put your phone in this little bag, and when you're inside like the main concert area, there are like sensors set up that keep the bag locked. And if you want to use your phone or take a picture or something, you go to one of the designated areas and do it. And it's to cut down. It's not to keep people from being able to communicate or use their phones or control people. It's about trying to get people to live in the moment again. Because people just you go to a concert and the whole crowd, everybody's just videotaping the whole, and it drives me insane, dude. I just think that everybody just needs to learn how to slow down life a little bit more.
Throw your phone in a wood chipper.
And just enjoy life as it is, and not through a screen or somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Go out and experience stuff yourself, and yeah, that's my my advice. It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful world. There is some scary stuff. There's a lot of negative stuff, but your world is what you make it. And yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, you only get one life, and there's a lot of cool stuff to experience out there. So go out and experience it. Don't wait for life to come to you.
Pray to your Lord that you don't become allergic to beans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on that note.
No, I agree with you. I hate when I see somebody's full story is just like the whole concert. I'm like, did you even watch it?
Yeah.
That's what my older
Drives me
brother
crazy.
does.
Well,
And
my-
I tell him, I was like, good, I didn't need to go to the show. I watched it through your Snapchat.
Well, and myself too. Like I realized, like, I was going through my phone, and because my phone was full storage, I had to go through, erase a bunch of shit recently and everything. Found all these videos that are just me at a concert. You can't even hear it because I'm screaming through most of them. You know, so I'm like, why did I record this? I'm never gonna go back and watch because obviously, like, it's not enjoyable because you just hear my dumb ass in it. Like, so yeah, it's yeah. Phones are crazy, and I think that they've done crazy things to people's brains and in our society in general.
Oh, I've found the same for myself where you're just like doom scrolling. You're just like, for one, you feel bad about yourself, and then you're just like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I not doing like this, and this? Or like,
And it's all a performance.
yeah.
They like you see all this cool stuff. It could be staged, or that could be the only cool thing that person's done.
Well, and then you just look at your own life and you're like, dude, I do some cool shit.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
what am I feeling bad about?
For sure,
Yeah.
definitely. And
You're a musician. You're one step cooler than everybody else.
the last thing I'll say on the topic is something that a joke that Pete Holmes said. I've been on a huge Pete Holmes kick lately. 'Cause
I love Pete
fucking
Holmes.
love Pete Holmes. He's great. But he's like there was a time when you could revel in the fact that you didn't know something. He was like, we have no time to not know anything because of these now. He was like, there was a time where I'd be like, where's Bob Dylan from? and I wouldn't know. And then there would be like this burning passion in me to want to know where Bob Dylan was. So I'd like go out and ask real people and like be like, do you know where Bob Dylan's from? Do you know where Bob Dylan's from? And then one day, or he says Tom Petty because he says, and then one day you see a girl walking by with a Heartbreakers shirt and you're like, this is my chance. And you run up and you're like, hey, do you know where Tom Petty's from? And she's like, yes, I do. And that's how you met your wife. So, yeah,
I love that.
for sure. He was like, there was a time when you didn't know, and that was it. We know too much now.
One more time for the people. Next show is coming up. Where can people come see you?
May 8th.
May 8th at Thirsty Street with Switch Off Safety and Stranded by Choice. And May 16th at Craft Local with Bloodless and Lethal Aid.
And I'll have the links to the music and to your guys' socials and all that shit. Or to the website.
Yep.
We'll go to the website.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to check them out, it'll be down there. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.